welcome back to F.O.E. You've joined us for episode 11. Today we're actually going to talk about practicing self-love and the importance of how self-love is pretty much the foundation of what it is you expect in life, what it is, your value system, your belief system, the things that you believe about you and how they impact generally how people can receive love, give love. If you can't give it to yourself, how can you give it to anyone else? So today's episode, we're going to dive into practices, how to get into the habit of self-love. So what is even self-love? Self-love is choosing you instead of choosing somebody else over you every day. It's about making sure that you have considered yourself and how giving parts of you to other people is impacting you, and whether that's serving you, whether it's a time for you to give or whether it's a time for you to withdraw and just give to yourself. It's about creating space and time for the things that you love, the things that make you happy, the things that light you up. It's about creating the time and the space to do these things, to action things, to put yourself in a position where you and what you want actually matters. It's about being authentically you. It's about knowing who you are to your core, about being true to your values, being true to what you want, being true to the things that you want to do, the things that you want to say. It's about not making yourself smaller to fit in. It's about not making yourself smaller to make somebody else feel better. It's about picking to be you and all of you. When you make yourself smaller for somebody else's needs so that they don't feel butthurt about your success or where you are as a person or how you're feeling. I'm not saying go out there and being boastful and rubbing it in people's faces. Oh my God, I made $1 million. Look at me go. And you're still only on 20 grand a year. I'm not talking about that. That is not nice. That's egotistical and arrogant. I'm talking about having a sense of humility about your success or who you are, what kind of person you are, without judgment of the next person, but also without going down a rabbit hole of making yourself smaller and less significant, with a less of a voice or an opinion, with a less of capabilities, just so that somebody else who needs to feels better about themselves. No, we're about empowerment. Success brings success. Love breeds love. Joy creates joy. Being successful, being good, being beautiful, being a loving person, being humble, being creative, all of these things are not something that we should show off, but they're also not something we should hide. And as someone who really embodies self-love, self-care, self-worth, who embodies the authentic version of themselves, they understand that they don't need to boast, but they also don't need to hide. It just comes naturally. By being who you are, it empowers and inspires others to do the same. Not to be you, but to be themselves. You are a walking example of being authentic, and they want a part of that. But to be authentically you, you have to love yourself enough to create that space, time, and that presence for you, doing the things that actually matter for you. Not for your kids, not for your husbands or wives, not for your partners, not for anyone else who needs you, but just for you. You deserve to be known for exactly who you are. You deserve to be known for your core, for who you are, not what people need you to be, not what people think they need from you. It's about what you can give and what you can contribute. It's about what you are willing to do. Because at the end of the day, self-love comes back to, have you filled your cup for you? It's about allowing yourself to feel emotions. Recently, there's been I don't know what it is in the air, but from what I'm experiencing, there is a a massive drive for people to feel the feels, to allow themselves the space and the time to consider how they're feeling, to feel, to go through the motions of those emotions, go through the emotions of feeling, whatever it is, whatever situation you might be in, whatever moment in life you might be experiencing. This applies to you. Feel the feels, go through the emotions, embrace them, embody them. Don't dwell in them, but allow them to be felt. And most of all, allowing yourself the permission to not always be okay. And understanding that in order for us to be okay, we have to go through these things every day, accept how we're feeling, and also express it. Express that maybe today is a fantastic day for you, or maybe you're just feeling like you need a little bit of space. Either way, it's about allowing yourself the permission to feel. And lastly, we want to focus on our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Now, self-care can come in all sorts of forms. We talk about things that we could potentially do to do self-care. How do I embody all of me? Who am I? Like what version of me am I bringing to the table that isn't authentic? These are all genuine and actually relevant questions to the things that I'm actually saying today. Understanding who you are, understanding your authentic version of yourself, that means showing up and being real. It's about being honest with yourself. Self-care is about being able to be really authentically yourself to you and allowing the space, the time, and the breadth to go through whatever it is you need to go through, to experience whatever it is you need to experience. If you need to watch the sunrise, watch it. If you need to watch the sunset, make time. If you need to watch the full moon, if you need to do meditation, if you need to do yoga, if you need to do gym, if you need to go to work, if work is what makes you the happiest, do it. Self-care is about putting you first. There's all these sayings like you can't pour into someone else's cup from an empty cup. So you must replenish yours. There's all these other ones like, you must put your mask on first if you want to have a chance of saving somebody's life. So apply your mask before you even try and apply someone else's. This couldn't ring more true to being healthy in your mental state, being healthy in your emotional state. And honestly, it all comes back to being healthy spiritually. Taking out a moment of the day, taking out a whole day, taking out a week, whatever it is you need to do to reboot, to rejuvenate, to restore, whatever it is that you have to do to bring that back home, to bring you back home to you. Find the methods that work for you. How often should we be practicing self-care? Well, daily, guys. Funny enough, we need to be practicing this every day. And I know as a mom with 3 kids, how hard it is to chop out the time in a day when I'm working full time, I'm doing my business on the side, when I've got 3 kids that are totally dependent on me majority of the time. The reality of self-care is probably the last thing on my list of things to do. Well, I've actually had to switch how I see things. I've actually had to change the way I routine my day. I need to chop out time throughout the day to make me matter. Whether it's going a walk around the block on my lunch break, whether it's reading, whether it's, like scrolling through a book, whatever it might be, I have to chop out that time. Otherwise, I start to go a bit crazy. I start to get a bit angry. I start to feel really resentful towards everybody else for having all this free time to do nothing. And then I'm sitting here doing everything. I mean, if you can relate, any mother on earth or any father on earth that is like their provider and the carer for their children and are doing the home life stuff as well as the work life stuff, you know that chopping out time for self-care is almost like telling me I'm going to win the lottery. Well, the reality is you can win the lottery and you do have the time to chop out for you. It's about making it a priority. The act of self-love leads to self-care. And by putting yourself in a position where you love yourself as much as you love all the people around you, if not more, You create the time and space to do self-care things like meditation, like reading a book, like listening to music, like going for walks, going to the gym, doing a sports, hanging out with your mates, going on holidays. But they start with the practice of knowing that you are valuable and that you need this. It's not an excuse. It's not a reason to. It's an actual practice. Understanding your value as a person and valuing and acknowledging that version, that thing inside of you that needs loving, and giving that to yourself and prioritizing you and making self-care a daily practice leads to your self-worth. And your self-worth is what defines everything. Your relationships, your career, your ambitions, your drive, your motivation, everything. By understanding that you need love from you, you create a flow-on effect of creating time to have self-care and do the things that need to be done so that you are well for everyone else and yourself. And then it just gives you the ultimate thing, your worth. Because you're worthy. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of compassion. You're worthy of care. You're worthy of time. You're worthy of everything that you literally give everyone else. And by understanding your worth, other people will understand your worth. And you'll find that your relationships will flourish. The things that no longer serve you, the people, the places, whatever it is that is no longer serving you becomes less significant in your life. And you feel more empowered to go for the things that replicate how you love yourself, how you want to take care of yourself, and what you think you're actually worth, because that is your actual worth when you put you first. So, by having self-love, by introducing the proper amount of self-care on a daily, you actually get a sense of self-worth that becomes undeniable within you and to others. And that's how you can show your authentic self. I hope that all helped today. I hope you enjoyed your self-love practice episode. If you want to connect, if you want to get involved with Frank and F.O.E, if you want to reach out, ask any questions, if anything at all, please subscribe to YouTube and hit me up on my website. I've got an email, info@frankandfo.com. You can send me an email and we can start chatting. If you're looking for just a space to reflect, join me on Instagram, join me on Facebook. It's just Frank and F.O.E, family over everything. And I hope that you enjoyed. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.